Everybody, I hope you can hear me. I've got this unmuted, but you can't see me. So let me fix that because I'm still learning how to use this using StreamYards. Hey, there's my face. How are y'all doing today? And the music's probably a little loud. I'll turn that down. Can everybody hear me okay? I'm just checking. Welcome to the show. And today, I was looking at Twitter and something came up on Twitter that was trending, and it was Terfs. I'm like, why is Terfs trending? It made no sense to me. Terfs, like what's a Terf? And so I thought I'd do some exploring, and I realized, oh, they mean gender critical feminists. Actually, I know what Terfs are. But there's a whole lot of topics under there that are topics I like to talk about, especially when it comes to kids and the new transgenderism trends, the transtrender trend. That's what I'm trying to say. And, all kinds of stuff. So that's what I want to talk about. And it's an open mic day, but I just realized I didn't put the link in for the open mic. So let me do that too. In fact, I'm going to do that right now. I'll just pin it to the top. Give me 1 second. Open mic link. If you want to jump in. I also have invited some people, or I'm inviting some people who like to talk about this topic. They're going to be, hopefully we'll see, maybe some will jump in. This is a very informal show today where I'm just kind of I'm going to go through this Terfs trending thing. And it's funny because lately transgender and Terfs and, leave the kids alone and all kinds of things are trending on Twitter, which is encouraging. People are actually talking about it instead of just listening to the bullshit. So that's what the show is going to be about today. And if you want to jump in, I encourage you. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. Shall we? Johnny, play the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, Dawg Knight. Yes, Queen, stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet, and welcome to the Dawg Knight Channel, where we talk about topics that are hot and cold and everything in between. Now on my show, if you haven't noticed, I tend to talk about things before other people talk about them. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that? Because I am usually doing this show in the morning, and I like to talk about things that are like breaking news, right? Things that are happening like right now and things. So that's why when I go onto Twitter a lot, it's because it's easy to find breaking news on Twitter. That's a good place to do it. Oh my God. Oh shit. I didn't see that. Anyway, and so, I like to see things that are people that are trending and whatnot. And so this morning when I went on Twitter and it was there was a list. It said, well, there's like a For You section and there's also a trending section, but the things that are For You are things that are trending now that maybe you've clicked on or whatever. And for whatever reason, this morning, Terf was on that list. And I know over the last week, trans women's been trending a lot, and Terf and just all kinds of stuff, that topic, because a lot of people are talking about the crazy shit that's going on with kids that they're, and the weird trend that all of a sudden all these kids are transgender or non-binary and all this other bullshit and pronouns and yada, yada, yada. Pronouns was trending yesterday. It's nuts. So it's a topic, and it's a topic I like to talk about just because I think about, what kind of a world is my new baby granddaughter going to grow up in? The other day, the vice president of the United States was at some little forum where she's at a table, and it was for something about disabilities, whatever. And she goes on there, and my name is Kamala Harris. I go by she and her pronouns. I'm wearing a blue suit. I'm sitting at this end of the table. I'm a woman, which surprised me. She said she was a woman. Well, I suppose in any case, you can always self-identify as a woman. It just means, but the question is, are you really a woman? And that again, that's a subjective question because everyone has to decide, in their own gender. But physiologically, she's a woman. She's the traditional definition of a woman. Yes, she is, and I think she also identifies as a woman. So good for her. I'm glad she told everyone what her pronouns were, and that she's wearing a blue suit sitting at the end of the table. Now, apparently, that's just to be inclusive to people with disabilities. But I always wonder how the hell does exactly, so if say, because she's saying that for people who maybe can I call them people blind anymore? Is there some new euphemism like people without sight or the sight challenged community? I don't know, but why would you have to announce what color suit you're wearing to someone who's blind? Do they really? And you're there? Are you there to tell them what you're wearing? Nobody gives a fuck what you're wearing. I could go through that. I could go through the. Excuse me. I could go through a conference if I were. Let's say I were. Visually impaired. Yes, vision challenged. The unseeing, or Kamala Harris, the unknowing. I don't give a shit what you're wearing. I could go through, in fact, I don't have to be blind. I could go through the whole thing and listen to you with my eyes closed and not give a shit what you're wearing. Now, maybe the cameras care what you're wearing and the fashionistas care what you're wearing and the people in the cover of Vogue, like Zelensky, know what you're wearing, but I don't care. You don't have to announce it. And guess what? If they're visually impaired, it doesn't matter if you're wearing a blue suit because they're not going to be able to see your dumb ass anyway. So I don't care. But anyway, this message is held for review. Who held that message for review? I got to turn that off. Well, no, I turn it on because the jackholes who come in here that are uninvited. See, my audience here, you are invited. You can say whatever the hell you want, but some of these assholes come in here and say shit that get me suspended for 2 weeks or a week or however long it was they suspended me that I didn't do anything. So anyway, all right, so oh my gosh, we got 25 people here already. Well, good morning, everybody. Let's say good morning to the troops, and then we're going to get this thing going because I want. Oh, and I pinned the open mic thing. I should put it in the stream. Here, let me put it in the Streamlabs too, to make this. Here, give me 1 second. I'm gonna. Oh shoot! What the hell did I do there? Cloudbot. There we go. Cloudbot. Let's change the timer. We're gonna fix the timer so you can also. It'll remind you where that. Let's see. Let's StreamYard. I hope I did this right. Yes, that's it. Good. All right. I'm just making it so that it also shows up in the chat. The open mic if you want to jump in at any time. But right now, I'm not inviting you at this moment because right now I just want to make sure. Oh shoot, what did I do there? Hang on. Little making of the sausage here, or making of the whatever they make. Let's say good morning to people in the chat because I like to acknowledge your timeliness as soon as I move this unpinned for a second so I can see who the hell it is first. Is this correct? Is this correct? Is today does Neon Leon? Were you here first? Well, I'm giving you the bell because that's where you are in my chat. Let me double check that. Let's go all the way top here. Oh nope, I'm psych. It was Avocados Diabli. Avocados Diabli, you get the bell. Leon, I forgot that I had hit the live chat thing a little late. Avocados Diabli was here first, but also good morning, Somnambule Nation. That's me. Did I wait? No, did I put a good morning in there? Okay, this is weird. Oh, is this from another day? Well, I don't care. Let's just go down and say hi to everybody because I'm not Johnny on the spots today. Also, good morning, Avocados Diabli, Mike Savage, Blarg, Maddie's in the house. Nice to see you. Rotten Corpse is here. Let's see. Somnambule Nation. I said, did I say Somnambule Nation? I think so. Maddie, Nomad's in the house. Stop. Hammer time. Richo, my friend from down under. Good morning. Good morning, Rachel. Mad Owl's Dildo. DI Freighter Watcher. I said Richo. What the hell? Man Squatch is here. Hello. Attack Alpaca. My favorite Canadian, Jaeger Pony's in the house. Good morning. The Asian Research Directorate is here. Aaron Meredith, what's up? Good morning to LA Prepper. Nice to have you back. I have a crazy prediction about Groot from the Guardians of the Galaxy. Want to hear it? Well, maybe I do. Oh, Groot will come out as trans. Oh, no. No. I Am Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy will come out as trans. He was wearing a leaf dress in the trailer. Oh, good God. Terf, is that some kind of lesbian thing? Trans exclusionary radical feminist is what it stands for. It's supposed to be a derogatory term if you're a trans rights activist, if you are, but some people are starting to embrace the term. But anyway, we'll get into that. Don't worry. Good morning, Natasha Kayleen. Good to see you. Looking forward to meeting you in a couple weeks. Jethro Hetero is in the house. Nice to see you. GDSOB, what up? Let's see. Anybody else? Rick Ashenbringer, aka Rick. I don't know why I said it that way, but anyway. Good morning, Jen T. Nice to see you. Anyway, so let's basically, you're a feminist who like trans women aren't really women, which is true. Okay, so that's a good explanation what a TERF would be. TERF. Everyone knows Groot is arborsexual. Very well done. Anyway, and also good morning, Lord Stanhope. TERF, shit gang members fight over. Yes, that too. So anyway, goofy. So anyway, do me a favor, share this stream. I wonder, did I show up in the, let me see if I showed up in the, let's see if I even showed up here, because I do have the word TERF in the title of my stream. Although it might come up as TERFs. I don't know. It doesn't look like I showed up. Anyway, so it's supposedly a derogatory term that the trans right activists use for people who, for feminists mostly, who are not on board with some of the, with some of the trans stuff, right? Oh, I got to go back to this so that I can in case I have any Streamlabs. Since it's a Streamlab or StreamYard day where I can bring in guests, if you do donations to Streamlab, they won't be immediate. But none of any super chat, any prioritized chats will not necessarily be immediate today, but I will get to them all today. All right, so let's talk about something that came up in the news that happened to catch my eye before this whole turf thing anyway. So there's a place called Tavistock in the UK, if you're not familiar. And I got to share the screen here. I got to learn how to use this shit. I'm obviously using a different, there we go. I'm using a different setup today. So let me get over here and just make this so it works. F11. There we go. All right. So this place called Tavistock in the UK. It's a center that has been basically the center of transgender care for youths, especially youths now, but also for everybody else. And so, yes, we're going to talk about the Tavistock Institute. Yes, we are. And who's been doing? Who has been? Wait, technically, I'm not a feminist, but I would be a TERF. Absolutely adore Blair White, by the way. Okay. Oh, I see. Yeah, okay. Yeah, her and Buck Angel and a couple other people are talking about this a lot. So anyway, Tavistock is a gender clinic in the UK that is fairly famous over there in this particular realm. Okay. Well, Tavistock's gender clinic has been forced to shut down over safety fears. Now, the title of that article makes you think, oh, are people threatening Tavistock? No, they're not. Tavistock's StreamYard is a little weird. I'm starting to understand OBS better. Well, I use Streamlabs OBS usually, but I use StreamYards when I'm doing a call-in show. So anyway, and by the way, the call-in link will be in the chat bot or whatever that comes through. All right, so the National Health Service, which is the NHS over in Great Britain, is shutting down its gender identity clinic for children after a review found that it failed vulnerable adults. It failed vulnerable under 18-year-olds. The Gender Identity Service at Tavistock and Portman NHS Foundation Trust has been ordered to close by next spring. Next spring, that could be up to 9 months as far as the way that it is right now, right? It will be replaced by regional centers at existing children's hospitals, offering more holistic care with strong links to mental health services. So, I wonder why this is. Now, when I hear that, I'm hoping that they start to figure out, oh, maybe we've been a little overzealous with the transing of children. Shall we read on? Tavistock's Gender Identity Development Service Clinic has been accused of rushing children into life-altering treatment on puberty blockers. Uh-oh. They're going to piss some people off here. The pediatrician, Dr. Hilary Cass, who is leading a review of the service, issued a series of recommendations today for a radical overhaul of how the NHS treats young people who are questioning their gender identity. She found that the Tavistock Clinic was not safe or viable long-term option. Not a safe or viable long-term option. And that other mental health issues were overshadowed when gender was raised by children referred to the clinic. Now, we've been talking about this for several weeks because we learned that Finland and Sweden, they've basically banned using puberty blockers on kids. They were going whole hog on that, and then they're finding out that the puberty blockers were having all sorts of trouble and things like that. Well, Are they starting to figure this out in other places? Are they actually starting to do research on children instead of experimentation on children? That's the question that comes to mind for me. So, Cass, former president of the Royal College of Pediatrics, they spelled it differently than in the States, and Child Health, said the existing model of a sole provider for gender services should be scrapped as it failed to meet the holistic needs of distressed and vulnerable teenagers. Oh, you mean they were just jumping the gun and throwing them on puberty blockers and seeing what happens, and then they figured out it's not healthy for kids? I hope that's what they figured out. Let's see. She said Tavistock should be replaced by regional centers. Wait a minute. Are they going to spread this out farther? Or are they going to actually do some mental health care before they decide to do any actual medications? She says Tavistock should be replaced by regional centers with an appropriate multi-professional workforce to enable them to provide an integrated model of care that manages the holistic needs of this population. Amid concerns that the clinic fails to take into account wider health problems before putting children on puberty blockers, Cass added, because they were just doing it willy-nilly like they do in some cases here too. Staff should maintain a broad clinical perspective in order to embed the care of children and young people with gender uncertainty with a broader child and adolescent health context. Oh, you mean like everybody goes through this? You might not be, just because some teacher told you might be trans doesn't mean that you are. NHS England, which commissioned Cass to review the service in September 2020, says it will implement her recommendations in full and decommission the Tavistock Clinic. If you know anything about the Tavistock Clinic, you should be cheering. It has announced the launch of but they're still doing it though. They're opening 2 new clinics. It announced the launch. See, here's the problem. Here's the problem. So they're going to open 2 new clinics. When they begin the process of hiring for these clinics, are they going to just continue hiring trans zealots? People are just like that crazy doctor. Speaking of that crazy doctor from the movie, from the What Is Woman movie, they found some new footage of her. We're going to get into that today too. It announced it'll launch 2 clinics with gender dysphoria for children with gender dysphoria by next spring, which will bring together multiple doctors from a broad range of specialties. The first in London will be based at Great Ormond Street Hospital and receive specialist mental health support. Thank you. From South London and Maudsley NHS Foundation Trust. The second in the Northwest will be led by a partnership between Alder Hayes Children NHS Foundation Trust in Liverpool and the Royal Manchester Children's Hospital. Cass said that these clinics must have, quote, established academic and educational functions to monitor evidence on children who are put on hormone therapy. Not liking the sound of that. Oh, wait. Must have established academic and educational functions to monitor evidence on children who are put on hormone therapy. The Tavistock Clinic failed to collect sufficient data on the impact of puberty blockers in the under 16s. Shit's not good for you. I'm just saying. She said there was insufficient evidence for her to make any firm recommendations around their routine use. Yes, because there's no evidence, because there's been no science on this. This has been a crapshoot experimentation on children. Cass told the NHS to enroll young people being considered for hormone treatment into a formal research protocol with adequate follow-up into adulthood with a more immediate focus on the questions regarding puberty blockers. So that at least they're going to start forcing the clinics to keep data on everyone they do this kind of work on, because they're going to find out some pretty crazy things, I think. The NHS said it would launch clinical trials in partnership with the National Institute for Health and Care Research to follow children on puberty blockers into adulthood. This will ensure that there's greater transparency for children and their parents' cares around the uncertain clinical benefits. Uncertain clinical benefits. Uncertain clinical benefits. Uncertain clinical benefits. And longer-term health impacts surrounding their use. Gee, you would think they'd have some data on this already before they start using this shit. The clinic has been overwhelmed by a sudden increase in referrals, particularly among young girls. Oh, could this be social contagion? And children on the autism spectrum. Oh, that's another thing. A lot of people on the spectrum in this kind of stuff. Is there a reason for that? Last year, it received more than 5,000 referrals compared with 250 a decade ago. That's called the Tumblr effect. Cass's final report will be published next year. Her interim review, published in March, found that services had developed without clear rules and that there was a clinician lottery with widely varying approaches to treatment. So there's no consistency whatsoever. And I'm sure you got some activists working there. She found that there was a lack of agreement and in many instances, a lack of open discussion, because if you ask questions, you're a transphobe or a Terf, about whether unhappiness with gender in adolescence was permanent or temporary. Well, you'd find out if you'd let more of them just go through puberty. However, last year, the Court of Appeal overturned a ruling made by the High Court that that children under 16 were unlikely to be able to give informed consent to receiving puberty blockers. Really? You mean kids whose brains don't fully develop until they're 25 might be unlikely to give informed consent? Shocker. The case was brought against the Tavistock and Portman Trust by Kiara Bell, 24, who began taking puberty blockers when she was 16 to transition to male before detransitioning. So that's very interesting. And looks like they've links to a lot of these stories, whatever. But it's amazing to me. It's amazing that this was a, let's see, Kiara Bell, she was trying to transition to be a male and then detransition. She's Kiara Bell again. In fact, here, let's see if I can reach that story. I don't know. We'll find out if this links to it or not. Okay, here's Kiara Bell. Let's read her story. This will be interesting. By the way, good morning to Eddie Haskell. I see you there. Cryptic, what's up? Good morning. I said hi to GNT. I saw somebody else. Selected boy. Yeah, boy. And anyway, how's the wife? She's doing well. She's chilled completely yesterday. She's up and about, and it was outpatient, so it was. She came home, but they just made her take some drugs and stay home for a day. And she's taking the day off too. And then we're going to drive up north to visit her father's gravesite this weekend and clean up around the family plots there. And then we're going to go to the Mississippi Headwater State Park, which is basically where the Mississippi originates, which is in northern Minnesota. We're going to go hang out up there for a day, doing a vacation thing. And good morning, Sydney Oberg. How you doing? Nice to see you. And Lord Stanhope. I think I already said that Lord Stanhope though. Anyway, let's see. Let me go from full screen here. By the way, 32 people, 19 likes. Hit the like button sometime during the show. If you can, if you still will, please share the stream. And if you want to sponsor the show, you can do it at pdognight.live, which I don't have on this setup, but pdognight.live for prioritized chats via Streamlabs, or YouTube super chats are fine too. If you don't mind giving Susan 30%. And if you're watching a replay, put a comment in the comment section. So let's read this. I want to read this this other kid's question. Oh wait, what happened here? There we go. Oh, it did open a new window for this. So let's read this girl's story, because this is going to be interesting. So, I don't know, staying home and taking drugs sounds awesome. Yes, she's staying home and taking drugs, and then tonight we're actually going to go hang out. There's a car show up in North St. Paul, Minnesota, which is just north of St. Paul, duh. And it's a classic car show, so we're gonna go hang out, check out some classic cars, and eat food out of food trucks, and it's gonna be a nice evening. And then tomorrow, like I said, we're gonna go up north for the day. I'll bring a picture of Bob Dylan's childhood home, because Bob Dylan grew up about one block from my father-in-law. They use one block down and one house over, and so we'll take some pictures of that too. Anyway, all right. Real quick, thank you, Selected Boy, for sponsoring the show. Speaking transition, is Chaz Bono biologically the soil or the seed? I'm not the soil or the seed. I don't know what that means, Selected Boy. Thank you for sponsoring the show. Thanks for dropping a 5 spot. I appreciate you. Is Chaz Bono biologically the soil of the sea? Chaz Bono is biologically female. I know that. Oh, the fertilizer. Wait, what? Are you guys talking? What? Okay, maybe I missed something. She was a swimmer and died in a race, but all three were at the same hospital. I'm not sure what you guys are talking about here. Also, Dawg Knight, when you're out of work, Fridays don't mean much. Ah, man. I guess I understand that. I hope it's out of work by choice, like retired or something. But anyway. All right. So let's check out this girl's story, because I'm curious now. Let's see. There we go. This is a report. When was this from? This is from earlier this year. So this is probably why Tavistock is being part of the reason why Tavistock's being closed down is due to this girl's story, which is fascinating. Let's check this out. So this is the former patient who went to the Tavistock clinic, age 12, talks to Lucy Bannerman. Alex was a girl who desperately wanted to be a boy. From the ages of 12 to 16, he, quote unquote, embarked on 4 years of experimental treatment. Yeah, let's experiment on children. In a desperate bid to transform from female to male. Now 18 and trying to catch up on a chemically delayed adolescence, he feels the Tavistock treat him like a guinea pig. Oh, this is from what? Wait, June 17, 2022. Wait. Okay. Was a girl who desperately wanted to be a boy. So there's this reporter still calling Alex he, even though Alex has detransitioned or is detransitioning according to the prior article. So if that confuses you, that's why. This is a girl who transitioned to be a boy and now feels like Tavistock treated him like a guinea pig. Okay, just try to stay, they're talking about the one person. No matter what pronouns I end up talking about, they're talking about one person. The gender clinic that sent him into the medical unknown has no record of the outcome of his case. He says he does not know the impact of those experimental drugs on his body or the repercussions of this supposedly pioneering treatment in his life. He claims because no one never asked. They just put you on it. How, he asked, could the NHS's main gender identity clinic for young people claim its controversial approach was working if it wasn't recording the results? Alex describes a service for young people struggling with their gender identity as a drugs train destination adult sex change. He was one of the very few young people who jumped off, deciding after 4 unhappy years on puberty blockers not to make that final irreversible leap to cross-sex hormones. The vast majority of children referred to by the Tavistock for hormone blockers continued with their transition once they became eligible at 18, but how they are getting on remains unclear as the clinic did not collect the data, a fact that the High Court judge in the Kira Bill case noted was surprising given the young age of the patient group, the experimental nature of the treatment, and the profound impact it has. This is a different person. This is not Kira Bell, but anyway, we're getting there. Hello, Keebler. How you doing? At 18, Alex's understanding of what it means to be transgender is now completely different from what it was when he first begged the clinic for help as a vulnerable 12-year-old. Oh my gosh, something that happened when you were 12 years old is different when you're 18? Shocker. I feel bad for this person, man. I'm not mocking this kid at all. I'm mocking the people who push this bullshit. Hello, Annalyn. How you doing? He was 7 when his mother first took him to the GP for advice, general practitioner. His parents had gone through a difficult divorce and in a traumatic incident, which he still finds difficult to talk about, he was sexually assaulted by a boy in primary school. He rejected anything girly as negative, covered his long hair with hats, envied his male peers, and now even in conversation apparently unconsciously equates femininity with weakness. None of this, he says, would ever be explored in detail at the Tavistock. Are you kidding me? This is pretty significant. God. But they don't talk about that. They just hear, oh, you must be trans. Let's put you on puberty blockers. When Alex was 10, the general practitioner eventually referred him to the local child and adolescent mental health services, which is CAMHS in the UK, where they explored his anxiety and struggle to make friends. But the mention of identifying as a boy triggered a referral to the Tavistock, the clinic that's now being closed. We were told 1 million times, they're the experts on this. Oh, experts on experimental shit, right? Alex and his mother traveled to North London for the first consultation around 18 months later. It wasn't like CAMHS at all. They didn't discuss. They just kind of accepted from CAMS that you were trans, as if the act of referral were the confirmation of transgender identity itself. Well, like that lady said in the movie, the kids know. They just know. We should trust the kids. We should trust them. We should listen to them. Really? Should we not ask any questions? Apparently at Tavistock, they didn't. They said, oh yeah, you're definitely trans. See you in a month. At the end of the first session, before Alex had shared any personal history or discussed his feelings in depth, exploring, for example, why he might not want to be a girl, he claims he was given forms for changing his name via deed poll. It was like, have you done this yet? He was 12. It was insane. Real quick, let me check this. Thank you, Cryptic, for dropping a 556 in the jar, and you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Okay, this deserves music. Cryptic. Wait, what happened here? Oh, I see what I did. Let's make that smaller. Let's make this bigger, and let's perhaps thank you, Cryptic, for what the hell? Oh, I see. There we go. Thank you, Cryptic, for sponsoring the show today. And also, thank you, Select a Boy, again. Just make sure I get the bell and the clap for Select a Boy for sponsoring the show earlier. Cryptic says, you can tell the gender of an ant by dropping it in the water. If it sinks, it's a girl ant. If it floats, it's boy ant.
Charlie's asshole.
Oh, cryptic. All right. That was good. Thank you, Cryptic, for sponsoring the show. Holy shit. Okay, let's get back to this. So they said, oh yeah, you're definitely trans, see you in a month, blah blah blah. But they didn't ask any questions. They just said, oh, have you tried to change your name yet? Oh, we're so excited. We are so excited to make you whatever. Anyway, if you think it was my fourth, or I would think it was my fourth or fifth appointment when they said there are drugs that will make you feel better. As a child, I thought, yeah, miracle cure. What I really wanted was a transgender guide to life. As a gender nonconforming biological female who pictured one day possibly settling down with a wife, Alex really wanted to look like his male friends. I was tremendously anxious about being a girl, they said. Wait, they said? What? Why are they going back and forth in pronouns? You just called him. Anyway. We think you're the right age and you should try hormone blockers. They sell the drugs very early, very hard. Hello, Angel. How you doing? Or Angel's Army. What's up? I was a child. All I wanted was something to make me feel less horrified by my body, Alex says, reflecting on the experiences from the kitchen island of his family home in the west of England. And I was listening to a doctor, so I went along with it, his mother adds, shaking her head. They went regularly to the endocrinology clinic at the University College London hospitals. Alex liked the injections because enduring the large, painful needles made him feel brave and therefore manly. Wow, is that what it means to be manly? Or you're very brave in one of those needles? Good Lord, this shit's crazy. He hoped that artificially halting the development of his female body would help him fit in more with male peers whose lives he so envied. Instead, what they did was keep him in a child's body while his friends grew up. While the boys grew taller and hairier, Alex's growth slowed and weight ballooned, with the weight going to the hips and breasts, accentuating exactly the female form he was trying to escape. The sudden weight gain also created angry, itchy stretch marks and a new anxiety about eating, which still remains. His little brother overtook him in weight. I felt even more depressed and isolated. The hormone blockers did exactly that, blocking hormones and keeping Alex in the asexual state of a child while his friends were having their first kisses and sexual relationships. The Tavistock was meant to be a godsend, a healing force to deal with all these issues. But, he says, no. He claims the clinicians failed to explain the possible side effects or gains his informed consent as a minor. What? Gains? At first I had insomnia. There would be days when I could not sleep at all. Then days later, I would crash. There were moments of euphoria. And then the next day, you just want to cry. Huge mood swings. Alex claims only psychiatric evaluations during his treatment consisted. The only psychiatric evaluations during his treatment consisted of an occasional form filling, which wasn't followed up. Tracking? There was none. If they actually gave a crap over what it was doing to my body, they would not have let me continue. If they had read those forums, they would have known I was not feeling any better. They just kept giving me higher doses. Jesus, this is frightening. Alex claims he was also put on beta blockers during this time until one day he collapsed in the school toilets, heart thumping in his chest after running 1,500 meters in athletics. His mother called the clinic demanding a review of the treatment. Alex came off the beta blockers, but continued with the hormone injections until age 16. Tired, overweight, depressed, and increasingly lonely, he decided to walk away from Tavistock altogether. In his last consultation, age 16, I said to the therapist, I'm not doing it anymore. This isn't helpful. This isn't what it says on the tin. I'm fed up being sold snake oil. It's ridiculous. At that point, Alex and his mom claimed the clinician invited Alex to step aside to make space for other young people on the waiting list. So the clinic just basically said, fuck off. That's when he said, well, we have hundreds of other trans people who want to talk to us. When you stop the drugs, they ditch you. So they don't help you on the other side of the venture. They just say, fuck you, bye. That's wild. I just assumed I'd want that. They kind of wait for you to go, oh, that's great. I'll put it on my calendar. Oh, I'm sorry. The discussion about gender oh, that's what it was. When they stopped, I skipped a paragraph. I apologize. So when you stop the drugs, they ditch you. The discussions about gender reassignment proved to be the last straw. Though he identifies as transgender, Alex felt very strongly he didn't want surgery. It was just assumed I'd want that. They kind of wait for you to go, oh, that's great. I'll put it on my calendar. Alex felt pressure to proceed down the medical pathway to prove his commitment to his trans identity. There was a feeling that you're supposed to do this if you're trans. When he resisted the path, Alex claimed, they frowned. For me, it felt like they were saying, well, you're not really trans then. You're only trans if you're willing to go this far. I'm a realist. I know there's nothing I can do that will change how I was born. I know that if they dig my skeleton up years to come, it will be recognized as female. But Tavistock could not deal with that. They wanted trans people who were young, who they could mold into their idea of what trans is. They have their view of what being trans is. And if you do not fit into that, you have no place in their service. I felt completely used to confirm their theories. It was insane. The whole experience has been salt in the wounds. I'm still trans, but not the way that Tavistock wanted me to be. So that's why he's still going by these. That's why they keep calling him hey. Keep calling her hey. Whatever I'm trying to say. Hello, maniac man. I came to the conclusion that I would rather just deal with it on my own because this treatment is not helping. With the support of his mom and 3 siblings, he decided to come off hormone blockers. They sat me down and said, listen, you need to come off of these because you might work out you're just gay, but you'll never know if you stay on them. So I was like, okay, to shut you up. He stopped the blockers. It was probably the best thing I ever did. Stopping the blockers was actually made me feel more free. It has actually given me the ability to pick what I want from my life without feeling like I have to fit in a certain box. I feel like I'm more able to present myself in a way that is more connected to how I actually feel. He realized that just sitting down and having a good chat with my mom provided more comfort than pills and injections. His mother now believes that the Tavistock approach was deeply unethical. They were pumping Alex with an experimental drug, then beta blockers, then talking about surgeries. So to come out of that system without any follow-up, that's negligent. True. When you're doing experimental treatment, you take literally every single scrap of data you can get and you analyze it. You don't just ignore it. She also believes the blockers were pushed too early, that they are experimenting on our children with absolutely no knowledge about how that's going to affect their growth or their brain development. They have no idea what that was going to do to Alex's body. Why not allow all these normal developments to happen, then make a judgment? They're far too quick to dish it out. Alex is now preparing to go to university to study screenwriting. His favorite subjects were always English and drama, but he resisted pursuing them because they were girly. Now he says, I'm like, screw that. There are so many screenwriters I really admire who make amazing TV shows, so I want to do that. He will also be giving LGBT student politics a miss. He doesn't believe his medical history should be politicized. He's now catching up on adolescence and is relieved to have regained some height. The period he has been dreading arrived when he was 18, but he now regards it as merely a monthly inconvenience. Relationships remain a puzzle. 2 years on since coming off the blockers, Alex has still not experienced any sexual feelings. That's because basically um, the puberty blockers kind of nullify that, and some people become completely what do they call it, anorgasmic, not able to achieve orgasm or sexual arousal. Um, when you watch shows and there's like a fit girl, you say they're fit, but you have no real understanding of what that means. That can really backfire because you don't know what is the correct way of checking people out. I don't know how this works. That's because, well, you didn't go through a normal adolescence. Um, you don't really feel anything towards anyone. I imagine you're supposed to get some feeling. I don't know how to explain it really, but there's nothing. I feel like I can't recognize what love feels like, being in love or knowing you're in love. I can't even comprehend the concept because I don't feel anything. It has been almost 3 years since his last consultation. He find it astonishing that there's been no follow-up. So 3 years later, wouldn't you want to know what the effects of people going off this are too? Don't you think that's important? This is nuts. This is nuts. I could have been in a mental hospital after really hurting myself. Worst case scenario, I could have ended up killing myself. I never got a phone call asking, how has it been to come off the drugs? From their perspective, it would be useful for them to know what happened, says Alex. More than 10,000 distressed young people remain on the waiting list for the service, which is currently being reviewed. Well, now we know it's being shut down. Alex questions how much has been learned. I think of the young people who took my place. Are they going through the same thing that I did? If the clinic hasn't recorded the outcome of his case, he asks, how can it inform the care of the next young patient in that waiting room? I honestly look back and viewed Tavistock and the blockers as some of the worst decisions I've made in my entire life. So it's just horrifying to think that someone else, maybe someone even younger than I was, is being sold the same snake oil. How will they know what happened to me? And then they just note here that Alex is not his real name. So yeah, boy, this shit is just nuts. Watch her. I wanted a sandwich maker, but then I realized I have to get married. Oh my God. Hello, Keebler. And hello, Brent Hayes. So today it's open mic. The links. Is the link even popping in the chat? Is the chat bot even working right now? Oh, apparently it's not. Let me see if I can fix that real quick. And here we'll pin it in the chat if anyone wants to jump in and talk about this. But otherwise, I'm just going to go on with some of these articles on the same theme. Let's see. Open mic link here. If anyone wants to jump in on open mic day, you're welcome to. Although you don't have to either. It's up to you. Here's I'll pin this to the top if anyone wants to do that. So let me move on, because I got a couple other articles open kind of in the same vein today. And this is about this Title IX thing that Joe Biden's doing, that he wants the Title IX to be applied to gender identity or gender expression. And it's a problem. So there's an interesting article on Fox News today, Fox News site, which of course the right-wing nut jobs at Fox News are going to have going to have something like this. Yes, I'm being facetious. Oh, wrong one. Hang on. Let me fix that. Let's put this back where I want it. And just to get rid of the okay, come on. Why isn't that working? Oh, it did work. So there we go. All right. So Biden's Title IX rule could mean your daughter's college roommate will be a man. Could mean. Didn't say it will be. But so the Department of Education wants to reform Title IX to emphasize gender identity. That could create a host of problems for colleges and universities. Of all the uncertainties that college freshmen must face, none is more sensitive than the issue of roommates. You might become best friends. You might go to war over who ate the leftover pizza in the fridge. There's nothing to be taken for granted when it comes to living with a virtual stranger, except that men room with men and women room with women, at least for now. If the Biden administration gets its way, schools could force biological female students to live with biological men who identify as women and vice versa. The Department of Education has proposed a new Title IX rule that demands that colleges treat students in line with their gender identity, not their biological, physiological sex. That means that people who identify as women would live with people who identify as women, and people who identify as men would live with people who identify as a man. Sorry about that, Cricket. I'll get that in a second. A biological man who began identifying as a woman at age 13 could be treated the same as a biological man who began identifying as a woman an hour ago. Both could be allowed to room with a woman who has no say in the matter, nor could the school be obligated to alert her in any way that a roommate is not, in fact, biologically female. Any school that dared to put facts over feelings would be vulnerable to Title IX investigations and even potentially lose its federal funding. Any student who dared to object to living with someone of the opposite sex could be slapped with a Title IX complaint as well. The Department of Education claims that Title IX's prohibitions on sex discrimination includes discrimination on the basis of gender identity. The proposed rule claims to respect existing law that allows colleges to maintain sex-segregated housing facilities, but there's a catch. The proposed rule redefines sex to include gender identity. If the word sex is robbed of its meaning, so is the word sex segregated. In short, colleges could have nominally male and female dorms, but the definition of male and female would be identity-based, not biology-based. The cruel irony here is that schools are obligated under Title IX to address threats of sexual harassment and assault. For 50 years, the law has stood to protect all students from discrimination on the basis of sex. Now, the Biden administration proposed rule, which was announced on June 23rd, would turn Title IX into a political cudgel rather than a civil rights milestone. It would be hard to conceive of a more efficient way to make college women less safe than by potentially forcing some of them to sleep in just a few feet away from a biological men behind closed doors without their knowledge or consent. Every feminist should be up in arms to stop this insanity from happening. And there's plenty that are, I guarantee you, but they don't get a whole lot of attention. The proposed rule claims to respect existing laws that allow colleges to maintain sex-segregated housing facilities, but there's wait a minute. Did they just write the same paragraph twice? That's really weird. Anyway, all students deserve equal access. Did they read the same paragraph twice? It looks like they did. I just said the same sentence twice, too. The word sex around. Okay. All students deserve equal access to education. In an ideal world, college roommate matching systems could give students the option to check the box if they are comfortable living with a transgender identified classmate. This would help ensure that students end up in roommate pairs with which they feel comfortable. There are always ways to prevent an 18-year-old woman from having to live with an 18-year-old man without ever being consulted on the matter. But it appears that the Biden administration would rather skip right past common sense ideas and go all in on transgender ideology, even if it could mean forcing women to sleep in the same room as men and punish them if they complain, which is what they will do. I'm waiting for that suit to come up. Let's see. I'll just finish this out. We as a country do not have to accept this insanity. The new Title IX rule is currently a proposal up for public comment. The Independent Women's Voice has created an online portal to streamline the commenting process, which anyone can use. So you can find that link in the tab. The Defense of Freedom Institute also created an online comment portal. It will take a massive public outcry to get the Biden administration to back off. And I encourage you to join me in weighing in on the rule before September 12th deadline, blah, blah, blah. So there's a link in this article if you want to participate in that. All right. Looks like I have a couple people waiting to comment live. So let me pull this out of here, and I'm going to bring on Richo. So let's do that real quick. Good morning, Richo. Well, it's an early morning for you, but good morning, sir. How you
doing? Sorry, just past midnight. Thanks.
Yes,
hope you're well.
Good to see you.
Hope the wife as well.
She's doing much better. Like I said, good enough to go hang out and travel tomorrow. So we're all good.
Hey, before we start, can I just say something to the chat? I'm pretty sure that Falcon in the Mad Max movie was an Aussie-made car. Just saying.
Wait, what?
Oh, it came up with Mad Max somehow, and the Falcon, and I'm pretty sure it's an Aussie Falcon.
Oh, okay. Because Ford Falcon's had a little box car.
Yeah, we got the big muscle V8. Anyway, yeah. Actually, I wanted to bring up. Have you seen the new bills that Jacinda Ardern? You've heard of her, the New Zealand Prime Minister?
Oh yeah.
But have you seen the abortion laws? Have you seen the abortion laws she's just recently passed? Apparently.
Oh no! Tell us about it.
Yeah, because they're trying to take California's what do you want to call it off the map as like being the most woke people on the planet. Up to birth now, any circumstances is legal. They took away. It used to be 20 weeks if they thought that the baby had Down syndrome or something. They would allow it at 20 weeks. Now that's gone as well. You can do it whenever. If you want a girl, yet you find out it's a boy, you can terminate it. This is not made up stuff, and this is actually real. Sorry.
So this is one of those anytime, any reason laws.
That's what it looks like to me, and they are right next door to me. It's like maybe we have to go over there and invade them ourselves and do something to them. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. See,
because if you
go ahead.
Sorry, no, I don't want to say it too much, but if you allow up to birth for any reason, I'm sorry, that's as close to murder as you can get.
Well, makes it barbaric. As far as I'm concerned.
That's more. Yeah.
I personally, I know that it doesn't jive with everybody who listens to me, but I personally think abortion should be illegal, but I think it needs to be severely restricted, and I don't think it should be for any reason at a certain point. Certainly, any medical reason that are legitimate medical reasons, because I get in this discussion with people every once in a while where they bring up the most extreme cases in which I think it should be legal. So tubal ligation, like when they, the fetus is in one of the fallopian tubes. That's absolutely a medical reason. A baby that they find out that has zero brain function while it's in the body. No, you're not going to make that person go to term with that a baby that's basically dead.
Well, even if you find out something, even if something like you find out the baby's got no limbs or something, even if at a very early stage, I can go along with that. However, up to birth, a healthy baby. No, you're crossing the line right there.
Well, but yeah, I mean, those are extreme medical reasons that those aren't necessarily abortions. Those are a medical emergency versus someone who, at first, who waits till they're 6 months pregnant and says, you know what, I can't do this. I don't want to do this anymore. So
we call it. Sorry, kick on. Sorry.
No, that's where I kind of draw a line. There has to be some restrictions that some people just don't actually. So when I hear the anytime, any reason, I'm like, no, not anytime, because that's barbarism. There are people.
It's not a bloody. It's not a contraception move. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not what it was intended for.
Right, but even if it is, if their reason is because they don't want a baby. That's got to be a decision that's made early, so it's not a barbaric procedure. There's because I got an argument with someone the other day who, they were talking about saying that like circumcision of males is a barbaric procedure. Well, is that more barbaric than abortion? And they couldn't answer the question. So
sure.
I understand that my personal beliefs beyond are my personal beliefs don't necessarily need to inform the conduct of other people, but there is a point where that it's such a barbaric thing that you can't allow it to be legal. So anyway.
Yeah, I was brought up Catholic, right? So, and don't get me wrong, I know there's so much things wrong with the Catholic Church. Don't get me started. But yeah, that's just like the whole abortion thing has always just been, it depends what type of what do you call it, environment you grew up in as well. But yeah, to me, it's just barbaric,
Yeah. Do you follow the topic of the day as much at all? I mean, the pronouns and the trans trender and all that stuff.
Man, they change it every second day. Like once you think you figured it out, they go and change it again. It's like,
yeah.
And by the way, I know what the plus means on it, and I'm pretty sure your chat knows what the plus means on LGBTQ plus. And I won't say the word, but it starts with the letter P. You know what I mean? They're coming for that next too.
Yeah. Now I do see, because people have been having so much pushback on the what do you call it? They've had so much pushback on things like drag queen story hour and things like that, and even the LGBTQ community is saying, get those people the fuck away from us. We don't want nothing.
Yeah.
So I think part of the plus is because they want to add every other letter they add. So when they went to LGBTQIA, two something, two spirit, 2S, whatever, and they keep adding new things because everyone's making up some new shit. That's what they're doing, and so they're going to start adding all the other sexualities. When they say, and there are also things like the different sexualities that everyone has now. They have designer sexualities. AFAB, not AFAB. Think of one here.
Faggots are bastards.
Pansexual and all those other. They come up with all these different sexualities, which is really just you're either straight, gay, or bi. But they start. They had pansexual or asexual or anosexual or this is the sexual or whatever. So I don't know. That's what I think it is. Anyway.
Hey, before you kick me, I've got a new letter for you too. It's a letter P, but it's not the one you think of. You guys don't use this word. It's called poofta.
Poofta.
Yes. Do you know what that is?
Yes, that word is used.
Okay. I thought most Americans have never heard of that one before. So
no.
There's one.
In fact, my wife occasionally has used that term. When someone,
it's an old school, probably 80s or 70s saying from us. Oh, that's what I used to hear my parents saying.
Oh, really? That's funny. That's hilarious.
All right, damn. Well, I won't say it, but yeah. Anyway, man, I don't want to get you banned, so I better go now.
Thank you. I'll talk to you later, man.
Take care, mate. It's always good to chat to you.
All right, brother. Take it easy. All right. Before I bring on Bully Rook, who's next, let me get through a couple of these enhanced chats and super chats. Thank you, Cryptic, again for sponsoring the show. Greatly appreciated. Oh, good Lord. It's another joke. Here we go. Buckle up, people. Let's get some proper super chat music going here. Is this going to work? Oh, I hit the... There we go. Thank you, Cryptic. Dropping a 5 in the tip jar. And Cryptic, you are the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Cryptic says, wait. Oh, Mexicanese in the States always have one shoelace untied. Wait, Mexicanese. I'm not sure what that means. Mexicanese in the States always have one shoelace untied. This is because under the sole of their shoes, it says Taiwan. I don't think you meant Mexicans, but that's funny. I got it. That took me a second. Thank you, Cryptic. And I thank you for the deuce to reminding me there was one. Like I said, I'm not getting to them right away today. I'm doing if you're doing donations, just remember that they're going to be a little bit delayed because I have to see them first. Also, thank you, Recession. Recession, I don't even know what you are. Are you really Recession? I don't know. Anyway, it says Recession dropping a big bullet in the tip jar who says, I'm not really here. Just ignore me. Well, that's what the Biden administration is trying to do. Thank you, Recession, for sponsoring the show. I got a feeling you have something to do with John Migda. That's a good idea, as I'm guessing. All right. Thank you very much for sponsoring the show, guys. All right, let's move on and bring on Bully Rook. Good morning, Bully Rook. What's happening?
Good morning, B-Dog. How are you doing?
I'm quite well, thank you. Sorry it took me so long to get to you. By the way, if you want to join the conversation, the open mic line is linked at the top of the chat. What's up, man?
Well, first I want to wish you well health to you and your wife. I'm sorry she has to do this, but I mean, we all go under the knife sooner or later.
Yeah, and it was very very routine and worked out great. So we're good. We're happy about that too. So what's happening?
Well, I wanted to say, one, I am so glad I dodged all this gender nonsense, and because I would have been very vulnerable to this crap.
Really?
Oh yeah. I spent I used to be a very serious feminist. Been reading feminist theory since I was like 15.
Yeah. And like most people, like almost everyone, did you have a tough puberty time? Like during that those ages of years, 13, 14, 15, like most normal people do?
Tough puberty, violence, of course. But I also had to deal with some other stuff.
Sure.
Well, part of it is I was in that gender bend crowd. I was hanging out with they didn't call themselves trans yet because that wasn't really like a word.
Mm-hmm.
But they would play with it. We would wear more feminine clothing and go more masculine or do other things like that. And, well, I was a drag queen for a little bit.
Oh wow. Now
at the same time I was a conservative Christian. So okay. Life's complicated.
Let me ask you something. So you say that, so like when you were younger, the crowd, was it kind of the same group that would have been the goths of the 80s or the 90s or the punk rockers of the 80s or the emos? Do you think it would be that same people?
We're dressing in all black, practicing martial arts, doing witchcraft, and sometimes you just wear a dress. That's just how it was.
Okay, so it was just a crowd trying to
it was
trying to get through that time, you're a little bit, you feel like you're a little bit different, you do different things, and you're just attracted to other people who have that same situation. I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, I mean, like always finds like, if you're like a weird person, you're gonna find other weird people. Like if you put in a room of 100 people, the assholes are gonna be paired up in the corner. Always happens.
Yeah, well, or just people who have similar, I don't know, goals, desires, or whatever, but just people who have similar like social status tend to group in groups, or the jocks tend to group in groups, the eggheads tend to group in groups, the band people tend to group in groups, and there's other people who maybe you're just like into D&D or something, and they tend to, or something that's not necessarily the mainstream, but they're all everyone's going to kind of group themselves and have like kind of an affiliation with whatever group that they're doing, So I don't know.
Oh, I think it's deeper than that. I think it's more than just interests or aesthetics. I think on like a subconscious level, we are attracted to people of similar archetypes, as the Jungian phrase would be.
Okay. Yeah.
So people of similar, like a lot of people of similar temperaments. Because like I said, like if you'll have two people that are just like complete assholes, and they'll always find each other, even if they don't share like interests or social status, they'll just attract each other. And that's the same thing with a lot of different groups or personality types. They'll just cluster together, and it's a real natural phenomenon.
Richo asks, how can you be a drag queen and a conservative Christian? Not being rude, just asking.
I don't know, I just did it.
Do you think the conservative part was more your family base than you grew up that way and not necessarily, or was it?
Well, no, I was into it. I was going to church 2 times a week. I was praying and fasting. Okay. Voted Republican and voted in Republican primaries.
Sure.
Voted for George Bush twice.
In fact, that's I it may be, I wouldn't say common, but there may be plenty of cases of that. I mean, it's not like a drag queen doesn't necessarily make you gay. It just means that's something you do as as an entertainer or whatever. And
it was a laugh, and
say it again.
it was a lot. It was a laugh. It was a lot of attention.
Oh,
You
okay.
get people hooting and hollering, and here's a secret that no one talks about because it's a secret. Chicks love dudes in dresses.
It's funny. You know what? I tell you what, women love to go to drag shows. Why? I don't know, because it's such an exaggeration of what they are. But still, women, it is entertainment greatly too. Women love it as just as much as non-conforming people do.
And I mean, I was like 18 in college, hanging out with a lot of people in that area, so just kind of fell into it. And plus, I am bi, so that whole gay aspect was a part of everything.
Sure. And were you good at it? Did you were you able to
being bi?
No. As being a drag queen. Like, did you do it as a profession? Like, did you do shows, or was it just something you did on the side?
Oh no. We'd put on some very caked on makeup and dresses and just run up and down a little runway in high heels. It was actually called a drag race. We were literally racing.
Maybe it's inspiration for the show, right?
It's a common term in the world, but I mean, I wasn't like going to orgies and doing ketamine or anything crazy like that.
Well, good, because that means you survived, which is why you're here. So that's a good thing.
But yeah, but seeing how I am in that life and how that was just like a phase I did when I was 18, 19. They would 100% had me on drugs, getting me surgery, and that would completely have changed all the trajectories that happened afterwards.
Sure. Yeah, they would absolutely be pushing you toward that when in reality, maybe it just wasn't your thing.
Well, I mean, it was just something I was doing. It was a bit of fun. It wasn't. I wasn't a woman. I'm not a woman. Like, you can't do that. And what's often not talked about is gender dysphoria is a part of a larger dysphoric umbrella. There's lots of different kinds of dysphoria. Like anorexia, for instance, is a form of dysphoria.
Right.
Because what dysphoria is, it's an error in your brain's body mapping. Because in your brain, you have a little part that tells you what's you and what's not you. And when it errors, that creates a dysmorphia. So you'll feel like that arm is not your arm, or you feel like you're really fat and like dangerously fat, or you'll feel like you're dangerously skinny, or all sorts of different errors in your mapping. And a part of your brain mapping tells you what sex you are, and sometimes that can error. But a normal treatment for dysphoria does not go around cutting off people's arms or putting the anorexic on diet pills.
Or giving the anorexic extra long tongue depressors or some shit. Yeah, no, that's the thing. There are other dysphorias, and like you said, if someone told you that you were supposed to give someone with anorexia affirming care, they would think you were fucking nuts. Or if they told you, someone who, had a disability fetish, you wish that they were disabled, that you should give them disability affirming care and cut off some of their body parts, they would tell you were nuts. And that maybe, like this kid we just read about went through, maybe they would have asked a lot more questions. And that's what gets lost, is they're just like, if someone says now that this person has gender dysphoria, you can go to Planned Parenthood and get hormones, like in one visit. And that's the craziness about it.
And this is just a fashionable identity. Like, what exactly is non-binary? That you're neither man nor woman? Is that you're off the spectrum. Well, we had that. We played that game. And you wore lip liner and Jinko jeans, and you grew out of it when you were 21 and had to get a real job.
Yeah, and I think that, like this kid, it very well could have come from some traumatic event in their life. So this kid that we just read about, sexually assaulted when they were coming near puberty, now wanting to just be nothing that attracts that anymore. And so making herself a boy supposedly was solving a problem, and without any real counseling or therapy or going through anything through that, not even caring about that ordeal, Tavistock, which is the place that's being shut down now, just said, "Oh yes, you're trans. Let's start this treatment. Let's start these puberty blockers. Let's just put you on the path to where we can give you hormones later and do surgery later." And then when the poor kid said, "Wait a minute, I don't think I want to go that far," then they say, "Oh, well, we were done with you. No follow up. How's it going?" Nothing. And
This is just like when they tried to use it's a cure-all. Like they tried to use lobotomies back in the time.
Mm-hmm.
This is the lobotomy of our era.
Yeah, it's crazy. So anyway, anything else?
I want to say that, yeah, of course she had trauma. He had trauma. And a lot of the drag, gay, and BDSM world, almost everyone's experienced a lot of trauma. And I think it's a part of it manifesting, because things get crossed.
I agree. It's just one of those, instead of medicalizing it, how about finding ways for people to draw this out in a therapeutic way? You know what I mean?
Yeah, there are other things you can do, and sometimes you can learn to deal with what's happened, and a lot of things will just happen on their own naturally, and you'll work it, and it will just work itself out.
Definitely. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your experience, and I really appreciate it. And hope you have a great weekend. And again, thank you.
Will do. Thanks for having me on.
All right, man. Take it easy. All right. Next up is going to be Maniac Man in just a second here. I have a couple more articles. There will be a couple things in the links today, even though we didn't go through a lot of articles. One, though, is in the UK, which seems to be starting to get this, because I find this funny. There's an article here. UK decides against compelled pronouns for violent offenders. Oh, just for violent offenders? There's an updated guide for judges that says women will not be compelled to call male attackers she in the case of rape and domestic violence. And I'll just give you the beginning of this. The Equal Treatment Bench Book is a guide for judges on the fair treatment of people involved in court cases in the UK. On July 14th, the revised edition was released that makes it clear that women giving evidence against male defendants cannot always be compelled to use the preferred pronouns of their legal attackers. So apparently there is a problem. There's been cases in the UK where women have been sexually assaulted by trans women, aka a male, and they were forcing them to use the pronouns of the preferred pronouns with, and so now they've said that this interpretation is improper. They are not going to require them to compel witnesses to use the preferred pronouns of defendants who identify as transgender. So, and of course, the Stonewall lobby is wanted to fight that, but the courts are now saying, "Fuck you! You don't have to do that." So, and then the other article that I'm not. Oh wait, no. What is this? Oh, this is just a tweet that was showing. There's a movement. The KPSS is just keep prison single sex. There's a lot of people talking about that, but this is just a graphic here. A few of the trans women in the U.S. in prison for sexually assaulting and or killing women and girls. President Biden and the ACLU say that all inmates must be housed by how they identify, not by anatomy. So even some of the most sadistic, like serial killer Donna Perry to the left here. Where's Donna Perry? This guy, and fetish killer Perry Surf over here, have now been moved to women's prisons. Female inmates saying they're being harassed and even raped. If you ever see someone with the initials KPSS in their name, there are people who are in a movement called Keep Prison Single Sex, which I just figured out what KPSS means. So I'm proud of myself for figuring that out. But yeah, so looks like the UK is starting to get it though, deciding against compelling victims to use the preferred pronouns of their attackers. Good for them. And that should be the end. So, all right, last person on today before I have to go is going to be Maniac Man. Let me put this back to how this goes. Good morning. Come on, work. Something's wrong here. Wait, oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. Oh, now you got music going. Maniac Man, are you there?
Oh, yeah. How's my sound coming through?
It's much better now. How you doing?
Yeah, I got a fan in the background.
Not too bad. What's happening?
All right, I wanted to talk on that last... Okay, you remember... Okay, the article you went over before with the trans male.
Yes.
Honestly, I think she was a tomboy and she was pushed into it. And now she's been brainwashed to think, oh, well, if I envy the boys, then I must be a boy. I have a cousin that was pushed into that, and I'm kind of sad because she was pretty girly in the beginning. And then I saw something on Facebook. She was part of the TDS crowd. Fun stuff there.
Yeah.
As for the whole prison thing, yeah, it's pretty obvious why they're doing it. Like, why they're identifying as female.
It seems like in some cases, it seems like that's just their way to get access to women. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think the Leah Thomas thing should be pretty obvious too.
Oh,
he couldn't cut it in the male league, so.
Let me ask you: have you heard about the case in New Jersey? There was a transgender woman who was put into a women's prison, and within like 6 months, that person impregnated 2 other inmates.
Yeah, I remember that one.
So,
oh, go ahead.
Now, it makes me wonder in the case like that person getting moved to a prison. Do you think it is lonely prisoners saying, oh, we got ourselves a penis that we can play with? Or do you think that person was sexually assaulting those people? Because the one thing that I haven't heard in that case is any claim to sexual assault.
Yeah, that could be a threat of death, for all we know.
Yeah, true.
Could be a lonely woman.
Yeah, who knows? So it's kind of wild.
I mean, I'm going to say this now. I think if somebody is not transitioning, I said this in chat before, but the whole reason that trans exists as a prefix is for transitioning. So if you aren't transitioning, you aren't trans. And we need to draw a hard line somewhere. Because this whole, oh, well, if they feel like it, No, we need a line somewhere.
Well, I was in an interesting discussion in one of the Twitter spaces where there was a trans woman who had gone through all the surgeries, versus talking with a trans woman who still hadn't had surgery, at least on lower end, and one was adamant that person who doesn't get the surgery, have surgery on their genitals, is not really trans. And they were in a big argument about whether or not, and they I wouldn't say it was a knockdown fight argument, but they were in an argument about, is that even that part. So now there's even a partition between fully surgery trans people and non-surgery trans people. So
if we're going to draw a line, I think it should at least be HRT, at the very least.
Yeah. And I think the my biggest concern is the mental health crisis with children, and the whole pronoun thing where they're trying to compel speech to people. It's crazy, but anyway. So, any last thing you want to add? Because I'm gonna have to close up here.
Not really. I kind of need to drop next time. I need to drop a script for what I want to say.
Okay, well, no problem. Hey, man, I appreciate you coming on. You've taken a step that not everyone does. So, what happened there? Looks like you died there. Oh well. Anyway, I apologize if I didn't click anything though. Anyway, Maniac Man, thank you so much for joining me. There you go. I see the whoops there. No problem. I got to close up anyway. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you all coming today, and it's time for me to go though. So, if you haven't done so already, hit the like button before you go. Share the stream before, during, and after. And if you're watching a replay, put a comment in the comment section. I will put these couple articles that I did get through today. There's also one that I didn't get to. Apparently, the Department of Justice has told Congress it hasn't prosecuted anyone for the Supreme Court protest yet, but it's still going after parents. And this is the one I wanted to finish with. It's just a quick article on the data conflict. I'll do a quick one on this. Here, let it go. The head of the Department of Justice National Security Division on Thursday said the Department of Justice has not prosecuted anyone for demonstrating outside the Supreme Court justice's residence, but that an order focusing the department on parents at school board meetings remains intact. He declined to disavow using the Patriot Act against parents. Now, this should be scary to you because this one of the things that parents are protesting is the woke bullshit, the CRT stuff, and the transgender stuff they're pushing on kids in school, and saying that parents shouldn't have a say in what their school boards are saying. Isn't that what open school board meeting rules are for? But he declined to disavow using the Patriot Act against parents. The fact that DOJ is still focused on school board issues is remarkable because the group that the DOJ relied on to justify the action, the National School Boards Association, has since apologized and is facing collapse, with the majority of state associations severing ties following shock at the idea that parents could be likened to terrorists, or that they should have civil rights stripped via involving the Anti-Terrorism Patriot Act. An early draft of the letter even called for the feds to release Army National Guard and its military police on parents. So, and the only reason I pulled this up because is as a relation is because of what parents are out there protesting. If you watched last week when Gabs was on here, they socially transitioned her daughter without her permission, without even telling her about it. And it's happening in schools, and the people who saying it's not are full of shit. Just if you look at watch any of the libs of TikTok videos that are there's all kinds of teachers telling you what they're doing. So the idea it's not happening. I know Ron DeSantis got in a little spiff with some reporters the other day because he was being told it's not happening. So anyway, I'll put that article in the links today. There's only a few articles in the links, but remember, during the outro, I will update those. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today. I appreciate you guys. No, you didn't. Oh, I didn't see the message. Should you turn off your cam? No, people who come on here on this, when I open the mic on StreamYards, that's your choice. The cam is your choice from now on. I should probably remind people that. Thanks for asking me. So I'll remember to do that next time. So anyway, but ladies and gentlemen, I got to go. Thanks for being here. It's been a lovely day, and I look forward to seeing you on Monday at our normal time, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. And I hope you all have a good weekend. Thanks for being here. My name is P. Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Have a great day, and have a great weekend. Bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.